Hello everybody, this is Savage of Gandhi here, and today I'm bringing you a video on me soloing the Crota's End Raid on normal. This is just going to be me talking through portions of the raid that I do, and I'm going to explain like some of the equipment that I use and the techniques and tactics that I use to get through them. Uh, the video will be broken up into different portions because there are some parts where I goofed up a little bit, but I cut those parts out to bring a more streamlined video. It still ended up being pretty long, but this is one of the better runs I've had, so I felt like I would be able to share it with you guys today. For the first part in the Abyss, I'm actually running a different loadout than I usually run. I'm running the Mida multi-tool for the speed boost, which I usually do not. I would usually run a Fatebringer with the Icebreaker, just in this chance that I would get swarmed. I can have a chance to blow a bunch of enemies up at one time. But I'm also running a Blade Dancer Hunter. I guess I should have mentioned that first. With as many invisibility perks as possible, and I'm also using the Don't Touch Me, so whenever I get hit by a melee, I go invisible as well, just as a third way to go invisible in a sticky situation. And as you see here, I'm able to run pretty much past everything with no resistance really whatsoever. There are a few instances where I'll get tagged a couple times, but it's nothing too lethal. And there will probably be bouts of just quietness in this because it's hard to talk the entire, what is this going to be, 24 minutes about everything that I do. Uh, I know in this part a lot of people would cheese this if they're doing it solo. I have never been able to do it with a hunter myself, jumping off that second lamp by the rock up onto the ledge. I have never successfully done that. I've only been able to do it with a Titan. Even a Warlock, I can't do it because it seems like the jump is too slow, but I'm sure there is a way to do it. But I prefer running solo Crota as a hunter for one main reason later, and you'll see that during the actual Crota encounter. And it's mainly because of the gear that I can use. So for now, as you see there, I'm getting tagged by enemies, but it's usually few and far between because they're all stuck around lamps and getting blown up. And the best technique, I'm sorry, words are very hard apparently. Technique to do with this is figure out what lamps are close enough together where you can skip lamps to, cover as much distance as possible, and just get to a lamp, let your weight of darkness go down, and just pop a squat. And I made a very risky move there by meleeing that knight. If there would have been another thrall or a couple thrall there that would have hit me at the same time, it probably would have been game over right there. But it's pretty much just a run and squat sort of technique for here if you're wanting to run the actual entire Abyss. Now for the part coming up for the platform, as you see here, I spun in that circle and I lost my way there. I thought I was looking in a different direction. I thought I was. I usually would have went over and tagged that lamp just to take some weight of darkness away because I got there right at 10 almost. And if you're at 10, you definitely won't make that jump onto this rock right here. And there are a couple of places you can stand in this situation. I like to choose this one because it puts me the furthest away from these ogres that come up here. But you can go to that rock that is to the left of the lamp right there as you're looking at the lamp. Only scary thing about that is you need to have your placement right, so when that lamp blows up, it doesn't take you out with it. So I usually just use this position because it puts me the furthest away from danger at all times. And the best thing to do here is you can either run your Black Hammer or your Icebreaker. It's really entirely up to you. I prefer Black Hammer just because of the extra bonus for Hive Majors and Ultras, even though this Ogre isn't one. Pulling off those consecutive critical hits lets me have that precision mag bonus. But Icebreaker is also a very viable option here. And I would be running it normally, but I wanted to try the Mida multi-tool strategy. And it worked out pretty well because the speed bonus does help a lot. And you see here, I'm just waiting to kill time. You see it's pretty lonely up here when you're doing it this way. And you need to be careful with this portion too, because it's very easy to get pushed off this bridge. And if you go to jump onto this bridge too soon before it's fully formed, you can fall right through it as well. So it's just good to play it safe in that area. And usually I've been pushed off the bridge when I'm actually doing it with a full 6-man raid, because I have people in front of me and these thrall are coming up the side and they'll push me off the side. I think the first few times I actually ran this raid, I got pushed off almost every single time. And alright, for the next portion we're doing the bridge. Now this part is not hard. It really isn't when you're trying to do it yourself. It's just knowing exactly where to jump and kind of testing your luck in a sense. And for this I'm using the Blade Dancer roll again. Mainly for the agility, because my agility is almost maxed out with a Blade Dancer, and I'm using the Bones of Io. I'm not entirely sure how to say that, but it just gives me that second jump as a security measure for getting across the little gap there. And so to start it off, you want to tap the panel just like I did there, and that'll start spawning in all the enemies, and you'll see the sword bearer coming up through that door and down the stairs. Usually his path here is usually very unpredictable. Sometimes he'll run to the side you need him to be, and sometimes he'll be a jerk and run to the complete opposite side. And then that's when it becomes a real time crunch. And here, I went to take him out, and I realized that if I probably would have shot him again, he would have just fell right off the ledge. And that's the first time I've actually had him go to that position, so it was kind of odd. So I just played it safe and started picking him off with the Fatebringer here. You see, he's not too difficult to take down. But when I do drop him here, you'll see that I'll get lucky to get heavy ammo there. Now I'll pick up the sword, and you'll want to jump to this little position here. I don't even know what to call this thing. You're going to want to jump straight towards the middle. And then when you get to about the midway point, you want to look at the far side just for a second, enough to get through that little barrier. And you want to jump to this position right here. And it puts you through that invisible wall that will kill you if you just try to jump straight across. It's really easy to jump. Really easy jump to do once you kind of figure it out. But the first couple times I've done this, it took me a while to actually get it correct, and I tried it in different ways from different sides. And for me, that's the position that works the best. As you see, I was almost able to take out that gatekeeper, but the sword disappeared right on the last hit. And I was about to use the super to try and take him out, and it was gone before I got the chance to. And I like to hang out in this position here because there's a lot of high ground over here, and there's not as many deadly enemies over here as there is on the other side. You see there are knights over there, and then eventually the wizards will spawn over there too. And you'll see I'll keep turning around to check behind me, because the ogres will come out from behind you and they will definitely catch you off guard. It has happened to me before. And you see I'm switching to my Celestial Nighthawk, mainly as an emergency, in case I get to the point where I run out of my heavy ammo for my Gjallarhorn. I can use my gunslinger and use that one shot to take out an ogre if I need to. And that's probably one of my favorite things to use on the hunter now, is having just that one shot that does 6 times damage. It's very, very useful for when you get into a sticky situation and you have a major and ultra near you and you want to do a lot of damage. And you see here that ogre did sneak up on me. I wasn't expecting him to come out so quickly, because usually he won't come out until I've already taken out one of the wizards, but he didn't waste any time today. See, I got lucky with the heavy ammo drops here, so here I'm just going to start popping off Gjallarhorn shots at the other one. And usually if there isn't too many enemies, you can do 2 shots of a yellow horn and a couple shots from either the Fatebringer or a Black Hammer. But I decided to waste heavy here and fire 3 at him. Now the best thing to do here is try and kill as many enemies as possible. That way you can get your heavy ammo drops for the next portion. Now, running through this tunnel, it can be very difficult. I've seen people do it solo, rogue for all. I've seen people do it solo where they just bounce right through it and they don't have any problems. Me, on the other hand, I can never seem to get through here when I just try to run and gun it through here because I get stuck and then these death blasts hit me and they'll take you out rather quickly. So here, I just like to bide my time because I'm not too worried about getting the chest at the end because the materials really aren't important anymore. You see a lot of enemies that come through here, so having the Fatebringer or even I would assume Icebreaker would probably work pretty well here, but having that recharge rate could probably eventually hurt you. But getting the critical shots with the Firefly and having that Outlaw perk too for the reload is great. You see here I'm taking out the second Shrieker, and I'm just going to wait for that Death Blast to go away. I'm just going to pick off enemies while I can to try and clear as easiest of the paths as I can. I believe after I take these guys out, I start to go for it. It's amazing how I just did this run and I recorded it and downloaded it and I've already forgotten what I do here. I wanted the worst thing in this tunnel is running into those cursed thrall. As there have been times where I've jumped through here and I think I'm making it to the end and I time a bad jump and I land right in front of one and it blows up and it takes me out. And I'm right at the threshold of, cutting to the next part. It's pretty disappointing. Now here for time constraints, you're gonna see me jump down. I'm gonna check my ammo, or not my ammo, I'm sorry, my weapons real quick. And I'm gonna try and set myself up for the next portion. And you're gonna see this scene change for the 15-minute time constraint. So I will return when the next scene starts. Alright, so we're back now. This is the part with Irute. This part, I got lucky on this run because I tried a different tactic than I usually do. And I was able to get this one on the first try, which is the first time for me. Best thing to do, I always pull from the right side first here. And what I did differently this time was I used my Celestial Nighthawk to take out that first wizard because I would usually take the left wizard out first. And then when I start shooting at this right wizard, she'll run back into the inside, so it forces me to come over and put myself in that line of fire of all of those knights and everything. So I figured I'll use the Celestial Nighthawk and just pop her first and not worry about her. And I took the Shrieker out too, so I don't have to worry about that side at all now. So now all I have to worry about is point out this wizard here and taking her out. She's rather easy. As you see here, I drop her pretty quickly. I take her shield down for the most part with that Vision of Confluence, and then I pull out the Black Hammer and I waylay into her. And now that she's down, I can run her and I can pop another shot into the Shrieker and take out that Death Blast. And it's best to sit back up into this tower too. I'm not entirely sure the timer on these Death Blasts and how long they last, but I've had them hit me up here before it kill me. So it's best to just sit back in that tower and just wait for them to go out. Now, doing this the way that I did, it allotted me a lot of time to clear out a lot of enemies here. So you really want to be careful and watch out for these major knights with the sword because they can team up together and they can both swing at the same time and take you out in one hit. From experience, it's a painful thing to witness. So now that I have all this time to kind of thin out the enemy, it makes your entrance and your escape when you take out Iryu a lot easier. And after you kill her, it's less enemies you have to worry about killing as well to trigger the next part. And for me, I like using the Vision of Confluence a lot here with the Black Hammer, because having that uh, white nail perk for these majors is really nice, and having the added bonus with the Black Hammer for Hive majors and ultras is great. So now that she's in her liturgy rather, it's time to start hitting it, because when she engages this, she's not moving, and I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like she takes more damage this way too. So you see here, I fired one Yellowhorn shot into her, and I fired another and hit the chain in front of me, so that was a wasted shot. So I had to resort to the Celestial Nighthawk and a Trip Mine to take her out there. So she was pretty easy to take out, which for me, that was the first time I was able to take her out in one run. But after that, you want to take out as many majors and ultras until you're able to trigger the next part, and you'll know it by getting a drop of some sort. And I only got shards this entire raid, so, well, I got a few boots and gloves, but those aren't important. So now the next part is the actual Crota encounter. Now the first two times I did this, I I made some dumb choices, and I fell off platforms when I went to jump up, and I didn't quite make it. And I had a boom around hit my grenade, and it blew up in front of me, and it hurt me a lot. And it's dumb choices. But this was the run where I finally actually did get Crota down. And here, the best thing to use, at least in my opinion, is the Fate Bringer, because you're able to take out a lot more enemies with one shot. If you can get a critical shot on his acolytes, you can take out a couple at one time, and it does considerable critical damage to the knights as well. So the best thing to do is clear out this entire area, make sure that you get everything. The knights, sometimes they'll run behind those pillars in the back, and they'll hide back there and wait for you. So you just want to make sure you check both parts, and sometimes these acolytes come around this corner here, and they'll sit by and wait for you. Now I'm just getting myself set up. You see, you really don't need, at least with the way that I purchase, you don't really need that much heavy ammo. So here I run it, and I'll grab the chalice. And the reason why I run hunters and why I like to is having the Celestial Nighthawk to be able to one-shot the sword bearer and not have to worry about throwing a bunch of ammo into him. And I can take him out really fast, and it gives me more time with the sword and more time to kind of plan myself out against Crota. And here you see I'll throw a Trip Mine followed by a Yellowhorn round, and that'll drop him every time, about 90% of the time. There have been a few times where I've hit him with a grenade and hit him with a Yellowhorn round, and the Wolfpack rounds don't engage, or there aren't as many Wolfpack rounds that engage. So his shield will be barely there, but he'll still be up. And it's been a, a very intense situation when that happens. So you see there, I was only able to run one sword. Sometimes I can get lucky and pull off two if I'm quick enough, but usually I just leave it to one sword each time. That way I buy myself enough time. And I run to this ogre room here pretty much every time, because it's a pretty good safe spot, and you're able to draw in a lot of thrall to be able to build your super back up, because you're going to want that gunslinger shot for the next time the the sword bearer comes out. And you see here, if you run back behind the halfway threshold of this pillar right here, any thrall that come in will just stop in their tracks. They'll run back out. So you kind of have like a safe zone area to work with if you start getting swarmed by the thrall there. And the sword bear is the same way. If he starts running in at you and you don't want to kill him just yet, just run back behind that pillar and he won't come back there. He may swing at you and he'll start to come back there, but he'll stop and he'll run back out. So now you see the sword bear's out, and I'm just waiting for Crota to make his return back to the middle. And I already have my special ready, so it's pretty easy to get your special back, especially using the Fatebringer and having a bunch of swarms of thralls come in. And you can get the headshots, you can take out a couple at a time, and it really helps build your super up. And from here, you want to run out and pop him with the gunslinger shot, run up to the right side again, and you throw a trip mine and a yellow horn shot, and he goes down. It's pretty much a rinse and repeat situation here. And see, I got cocky there, and I tried to pull off a third hit, or a fourth hit, I'm sorry, and it almost cost me. I thought I was dead at that point because I spent a lot of time up there with him when he started to get up, but he didn't even swing at me, so it was really surprising. And that's kind of what makes this encounter really unpredictable sometimes, is the way he reacts when he gets up, because sometimes he'll drop him and he'll pop up very quickly, and there's really nothing you can do at that point, is just take it. And sometimes he'll stand up and you'll have some time to actually get away. So sometimes it's best just to play it safe and do 3 hits. And see, at this point, since I ran 2 swords, the 2 ogres are going to start to come out now. And it's good to be careful, because these ogres will, like this, sneak up on you, and you don't really have much of a noise cue to hear them. They just kind of pop out. And here I was a little bit in a panic because I was not quite prepared for him to come out yet. But I kind of pushed him away and was able to pull off some critical hits and have him drop some heavy ammo for me. And the second ogre would usually sit in this spot here. If you don't get the opportunity to take the first ogre out quickly enough to catch the other ogre while he's walking across the little open area there, he will usually sit right there and just kind of wait for you. But it is nice to be careful of those eye blasts, because they will take you out very quickly. I see that Crota is already in the middle, and I wasted a little bit of time on the first ogre, so I thought I was a little bit of a time crunch here. And it is good to note that the sword bearer will not come out until after you've killed the second ogre. So it's, I want to say it's about 15 or 20 seconds after you kill the second ogre is when he'll come out. I'm not entirely sure, I've never timed it. I just know that both of those ogres need to be dead. And as you see here, as I went to throw my grenade there, Crota's little blast hit my grenade and forced me to fire 2 rounds at him rather than just the 1 round with the trip mine. So it's good to be careful of that situation, because that has happened to me a lot, to where I have him down to 1 sword left and I have 1 heavy round left, and I've thrown my trip mine and he hits it, so now I have 1 round to fire at him, and 1 Yellowhorn round would not drop him, so I'm forced to wipe and redo it. You see here is a prime example of why I like to use the Fatebringer in this situation. As you see, the area damage is quite considerable when his Thrall like to run together. You see, I was able to build my super up rather quickly, so now I'm just playing the waiting game. And the ogres will come out every 2 swords, but at this point I couldn't remember if they come out after every sword after the first time they come out or not, so I was trying to be a little cautious there. But I see that the sword bear is out, so I don't have to worry about ogres. And here I just do the rinse and repeat method, where I throw the trip mine grenade followed by 1 Yellowhorn round. And you just see, as an idiot, I didn't prepare and reload my Yellowhorn, so I had to waste a trip mine and just fire 2 rounds, and I was able to drop him. Now, as you see, this is very easy. It can be difficult if the raid works against you. As you see here, if you have any questions or anything, you can go down into the comments and post any questions about any portions of this you saw that you might have, and I'll try to answer it the best of my ability. But thank you for watching, And you can subscribe to my channel. You can catch me on Twitch. I like the Twitch, or not the Twitch. Wow, I like to stream every now and then at twitch.tv/savageofgandhi. And you can follow me on there too. I don't stream a whole lot. I'm trying to work on that and stream more to kind of be able to do these sort of videos. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.